Okay, I can remember my keystrokes. Welcome back, everyone. I guess I should be the one welcoming myself back. I, once again, was gone all weekend, so this was exciting, but more on that in a minute. First and most importantly, I am giving a talk for the Spokane.net user group coming up next Tuesday, July 11th. So if you're watching this recording on YouTube, you've got a day, assuming you're watching it when it first comes out. If you're watching it after the 11th, keep an eye out on the Intelitech YouTube. There will probably be a recording there, or I'll probably record it or something, or there'll be an announcement or similar. But this is all going to be on the generic host. So for people who have worked in ASP.NET Core, they're usually fairly familiar with the generic host builder pattern. That's where it kind of got popular. But what a lot of people don't realize is you can leverage it anywhere. It doesn't have to be a web-based framework. You can use it in WPF, console apps, etc. So we're going to go over what it is, how to use it, how to set it up. So I've talked about that a little bit on some prior streams, specifically the ones around my .NET New templates, because the ones that I've set up for WPF very much do leverage this generic host style pattern and all of the wonderfulness that it gets you. DI setup already kind of bootstrapped into your app. It gets you a nice logging setup bootstrapped in, and because it's all built on the Microsoft abstractions, you can swap out the internals. So if you decide, hey, I want to use Serialog, great, pull in that NuGet package, have fun, it'll be great. So now for more fun. So this weekend I was gone camping, and I took my friend with me. Hang on. I call it Dee Dee, my debugging duck. See, it's got a little name tag. It says, hello, my name is debugging duck. So, Dee Dee and I went camping. Specifically, it was actually more of a family reunion that my extended family does almost every year. And lest you think that I'm crazy, I was not the only person to show up with a full-size duck. Now, unfortunately, I was not able to get a picture, but somebody actually showed up with a mallard. That's a very common duck in the Pacific Northwest where I'm at. They had a pet duck, and they brought it with them. And I nearly died laughing. It was great. I thought it was hilarious. But I have pictures. So, here is Dee Dee helping us pack the van. Dee Dee wanted to drive, but I insisted that that was not safe to let a duck drive, so I had to assert dominance and say that, no, I'm going to be the lead here. I will be driving. Dee Dee supervising the tent setup. My wife's leg just barely made it in the picture. She's actually the tent expert. Dee Dee and I were just along to do what she told us. Dee Dee, very happy that the whole setup worked great, so that was wonderful. Good little duck, and, you know, I think this was right after we got everything put together. Dee Dee enjoying the food. This is very much for those people who think of camping and like backcountry camping. No, my extended family doesn't do backcountry camping. They do what we call glamping. Half the family shows up with their RVs. They have, you know, heaters, propane burners. Like, this is, if you can cook it in a normal kitchen, we can probably do it in this because we come with enough of it. So in this case, there was hamburgers. Huzzah. Dee Dee supervising the campfire that I'm sure he had nothing to do with. You'll note we did not take our nice blue and white name tag with us because that would have probably destroyed it. I took Dee Dee for a little kayak trip out on the lake, and then Dee Dee obviously wanted to do his own swimming because reasons. He's a duck. He swims in water. That's what ducks do. We also caught crawdads, or some people call them crayfish, and then cooked them and ate them. And Dee Dee decided to try them too. Dee Dee got to wear some fancy glasses and try to, you know, be smart. He didn't win. And then Dee Dee, you know, supervising the campfire at night, because there's nothing better in an evening than sitting around a campfire. And just because of where we were, fireworks were very much legal, and there was lots of fireworks going on every night we were there. For those people unaware, July 4th is Independence Day for the United States of America, and it is very customary, especially in the area that I'm at, fireworks get launched a lot. So there's lots of booms, bangs, and explosions. And that's the end of the pictures. So that was this weekend. And I read I was instructed I wasn't allowed to bring any laptops or computers with me, so I brought a book about programming instead. So that was exciting. Yeah. Okay. DD's fun. Okay. Tonight I figured I would go back. I kind of want to get the Pointer Star stuff that we started on last week wrapped up and done. So for those people who aren't familiar, we'll just go here. This little website here. This is a small little site that I put together a while back. This is basically a thing to do pointing poker. It's not overly fancy. It's a very simplistic thing, right? There's no security around it. People can come and go. The rooms just get generated with random strings. It's a very simple setup. There's lots of websites online that do this. We tended to have issues with a lot of the free ones that are online. They were either loaded with ads, which was annoying, or they had reliability issues. Like they would go out, mid-planning meeting, and that would be really obnoxious as well. And I'm like, this is stupid. This is a very simple thing. Let's just build it. So me and a few colleagues decided, yeah, let's just do that. So last week we started in on bringing in this wonderful MudBlazor setup. So this is a very simple Blazor application, heavily relies on SignalR for the communication back and forth. Just hosted out on Azure and a little app service. Nothing overly fancy. There's a full, for anybody who wants to play along. There's the whole repo. There's a little bit there. I am going to be playing on the MudBlazor branch that we had started on last time, and kind of carrying forward with there, because we kind of got things laid out and started redoing the app, but I'd like to get it back into a functional state and actually release it. The team doesn't know I'm going to do this. This will be a fun surprise for them if we get it done tonight, and they get to log in tomorrow and go, wait, what? That's the goal. That's I like surprises. Plus, it comes with free theming support. So, yeah. So, here's what we got. Is we kind of got we left off at a couple flaw areas. So specifically, one of the big areas that we left off with is we didn't actually finish out the whole dialogue bit. Like this bit doesn't work, right? I want to see this thing toggle around the same way that these things toggle around. So I kind of want to get this set up. And this one we did some coloring on. I don't really like the coloring, so we're not going to do that garbage. But I want to get this thing toggling around and changing state so that users can come in to do it. And I want to get this styling set up appropriately so it doesn't look like crap and this, that, and the other. So we're gonna get it cleaned up. MudBlazor has a lot of niceties built into it, so we're gonna get some of that going first. So I think we're gonna start with probably that dialogue and get it going, and then circle back around and see where we land from there. And I'm trying to remember where. So we broke the dialogue out. Previously, it wasn't part of the. I don't know. Is there a reason I can't just do that? I don't like. This is one of those awkward cases where nullability is kind of in the way, because it's a cascading parameter. It shouldn't be possible to reach the null case, but whatever. And then it's bothering me that I didn't set protection modifiers and all that jazz. So we're gonna just. There's a lot of cleanup. I was learning. I was young, dumb, and stupid. Okay. So what I kind of want to do is change up these button styles based upon what the user has picked on. And if we go and look at, I think we have user dialog view model, didn't we? Yeah. So we've got this selected role ID, and I kind of just want to data bind to this guy and toggle up the style of that button based upon how this is set up. For those people who missed it before, this is a little bit different than how some people write Blazor. This is very much Kevin applying MVVM to Blazor. So, yeah, we're going to do it. So, let's jump back to the button, because I want to take a look at, and this is one of the things that I love the most, is the setup here. Is I think what I want to do is I almost want to just bind this guy up here. We're using these ones though. So we almost want to drop variant outline. I guess, what did we set? Were we doing color primary? Because we could just toggle the... I'm trying to decide, if we should fill in the whole color? Or if we should just go with the outline style. I kind of like the idea of dropping and just toggling the variant between outline and filled. I think that lines up with the code nicely. Because we didn't specify color primary, variant outline. Oh, we did button group. Right. So we should look down here. Yeah, these guys. It's great that these are button groups, but I want to toggle one of them. How do I change one of them? Don't really care about elevation, custom styles. Okay, so we can do... override styles false. Got it. Okay, cool. So we should be able to do this and then toggle the individual one on that we want, from variant outline to variant filled. So let's just grab this guy here. Let's just verify we can do that. Variant filled. Come here. Create room. Let's see. And then we want to do here override styles. False. Let's refresh that, and I think if I just hot apply that, okay, yeah, fine, we'll restart. I understand you're unhappy with me. I get it. I get it. You don't like this. This is sometimes hot reload is one of those features that's amazing when it works and kind of annoying when it doesn't. Okay, we just want to get the functionality built. Okay, well that kind of worked. I mean, we can see that it... So apparently if you turn override styles to false, you got to specify everything in line. So that's kind of annoying, but you know what? We're going to do it. Do that, do that, do that. Okay, now if I kill that, you gonna be happy now? Can I reload you right into reload for victory? Come on. There we go. Yeah. And then what we really want is, for the other ones, we want variant outline. So I think this is really what we want to end up dialing up or down, is outline or filled. So this is going to end up becoming, let's see here. So, no, stop it. If view model dot, go away. Stop being in the way. Why aren't you giving me any IntelliSense? Am I being stupid? This is just an enum, right? There's nothing fancy about this. Yeah, you're just an enum. Good. Equals roles. Is it roll or rolls? I can't remember. Roll dot. So this is team member. Variant we want to do, so if they've selected team member, we want filled, otherwise variant outline. Pretty much want to do this, and grid and role team member.id. I pretty much want this guy all the way down, and we're just going to change which one of these is picked on. So this isn't going to be team member. This is going to be facilitator. And then we want to do the same thing here. And I not grab the whole thing. That was dumb. Okay. And then we're going to do observer. Okay. And then when the button's clicked, I want to change the value. So what's the magical incantation? Do I just register up on the click for each of these? Is that all it is? Is there nothing fancier than that? Feels like there should be a cleaner option, but maybe not. Okay. Oh, I guess we can bind up a command. That's probably just... Ooh, there's not a way for me to do this, is there? That would be too nice. Okay, so we're gonna end up... Let's stack this stuff, because this is gonna become way too long, and I don't like looking at things like that. Okay, so that goes like that goes like that, and then... Write it very much like my XAML, because that is what I like. Let's see. View model. We don't want loaded. Select role command. So let's go to our view model. We're going to go with private void select role. And then I think we can just take in a full role. Why not? And then this gets decorated with relay command attribute. And then we better make this nullable, because commands, there's no guarantee that a command parameter is set. So we're just going to do selected role ID gets role null coalesce dot ID. Boom, done. Okay. And then you get that source generator, all the things. What's your problem? Use OnClick instead. Oh, okay. Don't really like that. I'd much prefer... You know what? Even if I can't do that, I'm still going to get away with this. But I'd much rather do that. Let's see. So I want to do this. I want to do role dot team member. Boom. That doesn't feel that yucky. Okay, so let's go there. OnClick. Facilitator. Do that. I don't know how the new lines get handled exactly, so I'm gonna find out. That may end up having to do something funky. Let's see. Observer. Okay, so that should go in there. That should set it. That binds. This is data bound. Everyone's happy. Bippity bop booyah. And hopefully this gives us a nice dialogue. We can change roles. And then click, 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 click. I like it. I like it. Okay, the one thing I'm not okay with is it's not setting this when it first pops the dialogue. Let's see. I would like it to do this amount of work inside of this guy. So this guy really needs to do a little bit of work. So there should be override on initialize async. Yeah. Do the asyncy things. I would like to do that. I don't think that matters. And then I need this client here to be structure injected. Right, because that's where this other one comes from, I believe, is constructor injection. Yep. So we're just gonna. Can I auto code to victory? Add parameter. Great. Add null check. Great. Thank you. Okay, so that gets me to there. That gets me to there. We need to make you async so you support await. And then this guy is really going to need to also know the room ID. So I need to pass that room ID down into the dialog. How is the proper way to do this? Title, options, dialog parameters, dialog options. I'm guessing dialog parameters is probably how I send the data down. Let's go take a look, because I think there's probably a sample in here. Passing data, what a shock. Okay, so dialog parameters, and there's a generic of dialog parameters, and that goes through. Where is the on the other side? Oh, dialog razor, that's what I want. And then this just sets up a parameter called server. Cool. So I just want a parameter of room ID, and then I want to feed that all the way through, doing something like that. Got it. Okay. Wait a minute. Curious what this lambda does. So we want this to be our dialog, right? So this guy here, this looks like it's a fancy dictionary based upon the initializer that I see here. User dialog does not, so can I, if that, this is the value, so this is going to be, let's see, this is going to be room ID, and then we need to pass it in. So in order to do that, I guess we come up here. I guess we do set the parameter to let it pass through. Feels awkward. Something about this feels a little off. So let's go with string room ID. I think we can just forward this down. I don't think there's any. Something is in the back of my mind is telling me that there's a warning if I do what I want to do here in a minute. Yeah, that's right. There is this funkiness with this guy. Okay. So I think what we do is we do viewModel dot room ID gets room ID. I think we just do that. And then this is going to be blocked for the moment because we don't have a room ID. You know what? We don't actually need to assign it. We don't need to do this here. We could actually do something a little bit cleaner. Public async task. How about load room data async? Do this, and then we just grab. Then we don't have to rely on initialization. We'll just literally call it when we've got it. And then this becomes lowercase room ID. Everyone's happy. And then up here in our dialog, we want to override the async one. Override parameter set async. Do this. Go here. Await. Async the things. And then this becomes load room data async. Room ID. We need a null check if room ID is not null. Feed it on in, and then await that, await that insert key. Okay, that goes like that, that goes like that, that goes like that, and then all of that works, all of that works, all of that works, and everyone's happy. Okay, so that comes into here, that comes into here, that registers that up. This goes to be room ID to show it what to access. It does an assignment. This guy here needs to take the overload that takes both options and parameters. So parameters first. Boom. That feeds in. We no longer need this. We go with selected role ID gets user view model dot selected role ID. Boom. Bippity boppity booyah. And in the event, that should work. I'm just wondering if I need to handle the null case. Cancel. And then we apply. Fine, I'll restart. Picky, 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 picky. Picky, picky, picky. Room. That has that. I can pick around. If I do observe, I should be able to catch this here. Boom. Selected role ID, and I don't remember. 2D7. 2D7 is observer ID. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so that works. I can pop it. No, I can't pop the dialog, so I need to get that wired back up. Okay, so... Okay, and then this is kind of a meaningless gesture. We got to clean some of this up at some point. So we're going to come in here. Let's make sure we keep track of these things. Yeah. So we're going to leave the task list up and just leave to-do comments for things that we should probably go through. To-do. Why do we need to all this here? Might answer our question here on a minute. So let's deal with showing the dialogue. Because we kind of restructured a lot of this initially, so it's been beaten up left and right. Okay, so we've got the initial dialogue working. Room.Razor. Where is our We need to do this, and we want to add in the pencil icon was another to-do that we had here. So let's do that real quick. Icons. Mud icon, it is as simple as this. Sweet. Let's see. And I think what we were doing was just slapping it inside the button. Match the old one. Filled. Or is it edit? It's edit. That goes like that. That goes like that. This guy here needs to have his OnClick set, apparently. View model dot. What is it? Show. Dialogue async. We need the thing that pops the dialogue. Did we kill it completely? Let's see. So let's just flatten this. Submit vote, submit dialogue. Yeah, none of these are gonna. So we need to refactor some of this a little bit. Specifically, this whole thing here needs to be refactored out. Where is the auto quick actions and refactoring? Boom. Extract method. And we're going to call it show user dialog sync. Boom. Do that. I'm going to do this. And then we're going to come over here and go, not you, stop doing that. We do that, we get rid of this. A little disappointed that this guy didn't pick up that to-do there. That's a little obnoxious. Okay, let's fire that up and see if that gets us a little closer. Because that also indicates that we aren't passing through the user's current role or their name so that they can edit it. If I click that, oh, yeah, it's not passing my current role, so it's defaulting it across. So what we would like to do here is, let's see. How did it get the name through? Bring name, GUID, role ID. I think what we want to do is pass these guys as parameters. And we're just going to explicitly pass nulls on both of these because this is now kind of meaningless. And actually, you know what we should do? We should do last role ID. Name. That way we can remember it. That handles that to do. Excuse me. I'm allergic to web code. Okay. Boom. Bippity boppity booyah. We come here. Oh, hush now. No, you can navigate. I promise. It won't hurt. Okay, I'll do it. Do it myself. Come in here. Let's go. Boom. We're gonna do something like name, role ID. Kind of wondering if this is a poor name. Regardless, what we're going to do here is we're going to go view model dot. No, hold on, Copilot. I see it. You want to do it, Copilot. Thank you. Do the next one. Oh, so sad. View model. You figure it out now? Thanks. Okay, so that's gonna go like that. Oh, this is weird. And then we come back over to here. Boom. Me. Comma. And then this is name. Selected role ID. I should rename that. Let's see, and then this becomes name. That goes there, that goes there, that goes there. That just works. Okay. Now we're cooking with fire. Now we're cooking with fire. So for this guy here wants to pass, it wants me to pass something. It feels a little awkward to do this in both places. I'm wondering if I should, rather than passing in the values here, if I should just have it use it. Well, it's already using that, so I don't even need these. Okay, so that makes my life easier. May need to pass them at some point. Not a problem for right now. What do you think, DD? Is that a good choice? I feel like I need a better place. I need to take DD back to the desk, my office. Okay, so I'm going to be Kevin. I will be a facilitator. Huzzah! Right? I come in here. I decide I really want to be go by my screen name instead. I'm gonna vote instead. Boom! I'm now a team member. I have changed my name. I realize, you know what? I really want to facilitate. Boom! Let's go back. Only thing I'm not thrilled with is the fact that it always looks up the role ID, and I don't really want it to do that every time. So this here is a little overly aggressive. So, and selected role ID is null. Going to be okay with that? Go change apply successfully. So I am currently a facilitator. I would like to vote. Great. I click here. See, I'm not so. I'm going to relaunch. Because it shouldn't be changing that on me. It should be keeping what my existing one is. Because the role ID should be getting passed in. Okay. Facilitate, great. I click the button. I go to vote, okay. I click the button, good. Good, good, good. I go to observe, because once, we only really want it prompting that API call when we don't have an existing role. Because most of the time we're gonna have it. Okay. Okay, cool. So dialogue working. Great. Great, 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 great. That's all good. That's all good. No, we should almost do. We should actually do. We should actually do it here. Because the advantage of doing it deeply nested, and actually we should even go up a little higher and let this guy accept a nullable value and deal with the null inside of him. Because the advantage of doing it here is it makes it significantly easier to test. Room IAD is not null. Oh. Boom. Okay. Keep this as thin as possible. Let the view model do all the heavy lifting. Off to the races. Okay. Let's see here. That seems fine to me. That seems good to there. Let's just put them. Let's see. user dialog back to working and creating. Here, sorry. I will make get cracking. Big, easy to read. Boom, done. Okay, push branch. There we are. Okay, let's go and see what we've got on the room side of things now. That handles that one. That handles that. We could work on getting a little better styling on this setup here. So previously our previous UI, yeah, sure, fine. We also changed the text of the button. I don't know if that's important or not. I don't care. Before we had this kind of setup here where there was a room. I don't even know if the room is an important detail. Feels like an implementation detail. I'm kind of tempted to just whack this guy all together. Make this a 10. And then before, what was our icon here? We had a little copy thing, so let's just do the same little doohickey here. Do this, do this, do this, this, and then this is going to be something like copy, content copy. Right there, it shows me the path data. Apply. Of course. Yeah, I get it. Should probably be clicking that rebuild button. Okay. Okay, let's go here. Sure. So this guy I really want, and that's not. Okay, so that sizing is not even close to what I want. So I want to go something like 4. 8. Apply that. Mini4G, thanks for the subscription. I appreciate it. Been a hot minute. Yes, it has been. Thank you for the 5-month subscription. I appreciate it. We're playing on a little app called Pointer that this is the current production version, and we're porting it over to MudBlazor, and I'm kind of cleaning up some UI stuff. I'm a little unhappy at the size of some of these things. I kind of want to. There's got to be an alignment thing here that I'm just being too stupid to understand. Oh, wait. There was docs on this. They were down in the here. Object fit, right? How replaced element content should be resized. Yeah, because we really just kind of want this thing to go down where it should be. Oh, actually, this might be better. Because we could actually do because the Flexbox stuff is one thing that I do not fully grok well, and I'm very much learning this. This looks a little bit nicer to work with. If I take this guy and resize it, right, we can kind of. I think that's kind of the behavior that I'm looking for, because I'm just trying to think. Is at the end of the day, I want that kind of behavior, but really we should be shrinking these things down small enough to where they aren't that big. So I guess then the question is, why are these things so tall? Can I just shrink? Can I just do like, or do I have to do it on the button to set the height? Why? Let's just do this. Let's dev tools this guy and you. Where is the sizing coming from? So all I really want to know about is where is your sizing coming from? Mud full width. I'm looking at the wrong button. Let's go 0. So hold on. Let's come down. Where's the... Really, this padding is what's doing it to me. So where is your padding coming from? Show me padding. So this PT PB8 is really what's doing it to me. This guy here. So you're the problematic guy there. Mud width full is also the problem there. Boom. There. Okay, I think that gets me close to what I want. There. Apply. There. That sizes me a little better. And I want you to justify yourself to the end. Like that. Did not justify end. What is it? Just saw it. Justify content. Justify end. Class justify end. That's what I thought I said. Is that not what I said? Or is this just a... Because I want... Oh, I don't want a line center though. That's okay. You're mucking with my mojo here. And then I want to do justify start. Yeah. I really just want to throw these things. Okay. I don't even know if I need this height anymore. That shouldn't be a problem. That shouldn't be a problem. Okay. And okay. Closer. But that didn't do anything. Okay, so that got me basically what I was looking for here. But why are you flex end? Shouldn't you be... Oh, it's... I think I want to do the... let's see. Start, center, end. Let's see. Paper, elevation 0, space between. Let's see. Let's just run this. I think this is what I want. Okay. Launch. I will say this is the coolest thing about MudBlazor, this whole interactive demo thing. Okay. Because I think if I just do this, right? That should get me, yeah, that. So this is really what I'm looking to do. Sorry, put you off to the side for a second. So the fact that I have this entire grid thing that I've set up is a little overkill. because I really don't need most of this. So we can just do 12. All right, and we can come in here, we can do this, and I can take this, and you go here, right? And I can take this button here, and go grab this, and I can slap you in here, and then I don't care about any of you, I don't care about any of you, and then I don't want any of this to happen on the button. That just goes away. So we just get rid of all of this, do all of this, and then it works just fine and everyone's happy. I think it. Rebuild and apply changes. So I think then this gets me pretty close. Pretty close. There we go. So there we are. Okay, so that gets me that. Cool. Okay, so let's get the copy actually implemented. So we need to do the OnClick. This becomes view model. Why do we have copy button icon and copy button text? Why are those on my view model? Where are those? We don't need you anymore. You're dead. Am I blind or stupid? Oh, look at that. Oh, why did we do that? That's bad use. We don't need any of that. Okay. Then this guy here previously was just doing this guy. So that's all we want to do again. We want to do it here. Boom. Okay. There we get that. There we get that. We get that. Let's just make sure it works. What is your problem? Oh, I need you and you don't exist anymore. Oh, and we don't need the constructor parameter either. Easy mode, easy mode. I'm hoping to get this. Okay, so it should be BZK, open URL. Copy paste into here. Now the only thing it's missing is before there was a little snack bar thing that would pop when you would click the. So if we come here, move you up here. If I hit this, I get this little copied thing. I think what I would rather do is, I believe I saw a cool little snack bar component, and I would like to use that. Boom, this guy. Simplest way is with a so we just inject iSnackBar and we do snackbar add. Is it really that is dependent on the Mud snackbar provider? I think we added that. I think we added that in before without realizing what I was going to need it for. Where did we do that? Was it in our imports? No, it was in the base layout. It's in the base layout. Snackbar provider, boom, right there. Got it. Cool. So that means that all I should have to do to leverage this is snackbar, and then we're gonna kill execution for the moment because we're not gonna be able to hot reload this guy. Create an assigned property, add null check, and then we don't need you public. Please be private. I don't want to think about that. But then on the copy, we don't need any of this clipboard results stuff. We aren't going to use this anymore. So let's go ahead and get rid of that. And all of this goes away. And we go SnackBar, add copied link. Simple, easy, straightforward. Don't need any of this stuff. Boom. Let's see, clipboard results. We're gonna just comment out this code because this is in the old one that we're just keeping around for reference at the moment before we burn it to the ground. So it's gonna die here pretty quick because we're moving through this guy a little bit faster. Create room. Okay, copy invitation link. Copied link. Now, how come that showed up over there? Let's go look at the docs. How do I position it? Let's see. Alerts and severity, configuration. Okay, so we can set this guy up. Show close icon per SnackBar. We can pass config to it ourselves. SnackBar position. I would like top left. Show me the code. How do I do top left? Defaults, classes, top left. This is calling change position. SnackBar configuration position class. We could do that on the configuration that we pass into it. Okay, so we can do that here, I guess. This guy takes in a, let's see, if we do configure, options, and then we do options dot, not position, that one. Configuration position class. So it's oh, do I actually have to do it on the oh, I have to configure the actual oh, okay. Well, that's actually mildly nicer than if I do it in the startup. Let's see, mud services. So let's jump back here. If we go up, config SnackBar configuration. So we want to do the one that does config, do that overload, config SnackBar configuration, position class gets, and then I need the thingy down here. So we're going to do ours is top left. Boom. And that should then set it up so that when we do the copy, it shows up in the top left. At some point, we may want to have it not be just a globally setting, but for now, we only have one SnackBar. Not going to stress about it. Boom. Copied link. I think it should be link copied. And that's a little too long of a duration. Big. High. Visible state duration. How do I don't know which one of these. Hide transition durations, show transition duration. Let's see. Let's see, HTML, render, alerts and severity, configurations, Position, variance. Kind of like the outline ones. Variant outline. I assume that's just more config. Yeah, configuration SnackBar variant. So let's do there. Outline. Kind of like that. Let's do prevent dupes. Ashes, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Currently trying to muddle my way through MudBlazor. Pun intended. I think that gets me probably good enough, I think. Kind of. I was hoping it would. There was a. Let's set these up. I think we just set them all. Because it's the transition for showing to hide, which I don't know why you changed those to be different, and visible state duration appear to be the things I care about. Boom. So let's go here. Visible state duration. I honestly don't know if you care to have that be more than 500. And I kind of want this to be pretty short. Like, I want this to be a up and down type situation. There's not a lot, like, we're not really communicating much to the user beyond, hey, we did the thing. Relax. Your world's okay. It's not like we're using them for errors or anything. Yeah, I think aside from inverting my verbiage, we're good, I think. Severity. We're gonna do that just to make it a little more clear that this is not a don't panic. We have to, at some point I want to look at the theming and change up the colors off the defaults, but for now they're working well. Yeah, sure, you're great. We might go just a hair longer on that. Just a hair longer. Maybe we should go all the way to a second. I don't know. Is that a... this is the other thing. I really wish it... Whenever you do duration properties, I don't like ints. Or doubles. Like, time span. We had, like... It removes the ambiguity about what you're passing, whether it's milliseconds or whatnot. You know what? Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go 1,000 and 300s. And then I'm gonna stop futzing with it. It's already prettier than it was, so good enough. Good enough. We just need it functional, and then we can come back. We may want to put a little margin around that to offset these things a little bit off the edges, but okay, I'm happy with it. And then can confirm paste works. I suppose I could always just do this. Boom. All right, and if I put that on my clipboard, right, and then I go copy. Good. Okay, copy works. Let's just checkpoint that real quick. Copy button with SnackBar notification work. Booyah, push that. Away we go. Okay. Let's work our way down the page. Okay, so we have this thing in here for facilitators. This all works and is working just fine. We can make it prettier, but there's nothing in here that's not working. If I do this and drop in another instance, I should be able to get myself in and voting. Just gonna rename it. Boom. All right, so I should be able to do this, and then I should be able to go show votes. Right? The only thing that's missing is how we show these votes to the user. Like that could probably be done. I think what I'd like to do next is clean up these buttons to make these a little bit nice, because right now we're just dumping them in a wrap, and that's no bueno. So let's clean these buttons up here next, I think. Okay, so where are they? This is if team member. Here's the buttons. Yeah, and so we just threw everything in a stack, justified center, and called it a day. That ain't a great experience. But once again, I think when I was in here, I saw a nice little way of dealing with this, because I think there was this lovely setup, because I think this is what I would like is space evenly. And if we do all of these at the same size, I think this is kind of what I want, where I do space between, no, space around, space evenly. Trying to decide what I like. We do space evenly, and then we resize this guy. All right. Let's bump this up. 4. Thing is I want to change the number of items in here. I want this thing to size differently based upon fixed item size, rather than like I want the number of columns to be variable, not the size of the items in the column. I think that's back down into here. Let's see. I think it's here. Right? Or flex, grow, shrink, I think is where it's going to end up being. Flex items grow and shrink. Yeah, because I think this is going to be closer to what I want here. Right? I don't really want those ones to change. How do I align items? Because I'd love them to wrap if they get too small. Let's see. How do you do that? Center breakpoints. Because it's the breakpoints that I think that I want. Centered horizontally. And that's nice. All of that's good, but that's not quite what I think I want. Right? Do you guys do what I expect? Yeah. Yeah, I want this behavior. D inline flex. This is what I want. Okay, let's try this. So we want to do this, I think. And I think what I want to do is actually do this maneuver here on this element here. Let's see. I want this to be vote button. I'm going to turn this off on this side. Get my big head out of the way. And we come up here, we get rid of here, and we format, and we relaunch. And I think this gets close. I think the only thing that's potentially missing is last time we had some of the CSS broken. Specifically, so on your Razor pages, this CSS is supposed to load, and I did something and broke it. I want to vote. Okay, that gets me closer. There. That's the behavior I want. Yeah, that is pretty close. Now, the size and margin are wrong. That is, but it's, okay, so, but that's the layout behavior that we want. So if I go and look at one of these things, this thing has the vote button style, but I don't believe I actually see that getting applied. Yeah, so something broke around here because vote button should have all of this attached to it. So that should be getting set up. We probably don't want all of it, but we can get it pretty close. But the question then is why, because this was chunking. I don't know if this thing needs to be chunking anymore. It really doesn't. This does not matter anymore. And then this just can become string option, and then I don't need this. And I don't need this. And then option, not options. And unindent that a little bit. Okay, so that gets that a little closer. Okay, so now the question becomes, what the heck happened to you, and why do you not show up? Let's see here. Where is the magical incantation? If I go here, okay, so it's there. It is being loaded. But for whatever reason, the logic that converts this over is not making it. What did the old one do to get those things to line up? Didn't do anything fancy. We just literally dropped it on the class. Okay, so that's clearly not the case. There's got to be a styling section around here. Customization. Pseudo CSS. Yeah, that ain't it. Let's see. Theme provider, that's great. I want to do theming stuff, but that's not what I'm interested in at the moment. Let's see. Breakpoints. How does one do da, da, da. There. Don't believe this is the same thing. I use CSS. isolation. Let's see full answer. You need for the table header after as well, but must be a space. So hang on. So this little doohickey here, I believe, is the CSS isolation, if I'm not mistaken. That gets automatically generated. Just to be clear, this little bit here, I believe, is what gets automatically generated for you, so that you can have a vote button CSS in page A, but then have it still work in page B later on, so that both of these pages could have their own CSS, and it munches them together and handles everything. What is not clear to me so we're going to do this, and I'm going to just do this. I don't think this is going to make any difference at all, because if it was just being overwritten, I would have expected it to just work. Nope, vote, please. Okay. Okay, so something, oh, okay. So it is getting applied. The first one properly is getting sized, I'm guessing. Let's just look for width. Let's see. I'm confused. Why is one working and not the other? This feels like the same thing. Why is one of these big and one of these? Oh, because one of them I've dropped mine on. Even though I've dropped the classes, there's still a whole bunch of MudBlazor stuff being applied on there. So that has not actually answered the question. The question still remains. I just want to confirm that this CSS isolation is what I am thinking it is. Matching the name of the Razor file, blah blah blah, must reside, yada yada yada. Occurs at build time, link, assembly name, style, CSS. I think we did most of that. What I am not confident on is, did we break any of that? In our, let's see, that's in www root index HTML. Don't need this anymore. That's dead. There's that. so it is all there. Let's go with MudBlazor CSS isolation. Not working. Let's see. You have to take into account CSS. The text of this button is yellow. This way it gets applied. Boy, this is where my yeah, lower precedent is not going. Uh, da, da, da. Ah. So, if that's the case, let's put this back where I found it. Leave the deletion. We don't want that. But if we come back over here and do that, I don't fully understand the deep selector. But we're going to try it. We're also going to try the bang important as well, because that seemed somewhat relevant as well. To make sure that it gets all the way in. Vote, please. We really should be changing something a little different. Let's see, text align. How about background color red. Let's be aggressive. I'd like to see it, something obvious, get changed. I want to know that it's actually getting applied properly, and then we'll tweak it into submission. The fact that the sizes aren't being set is kind of a giveaway. Because I would expect the sizing to take over. Let's see. So I'm wondering then, does that mean, let's see here. Because this one shouldn't matter. The second one for each of these shouldn't have anything other than vote button applied. Yeah, because this guy here is... How do I get you to apply? I don't understand. And I don't actually even care about the color as much as I just want to get the sizing and padding set up. Uh, yeah, so this is class isn't updated. Da, da, da. My mud component. This was the randomly generated CSS tag in front of the class name in there. So if so if the deep is on there, then if I look at sources and I look at this, did not move it to the front. So maybe that is unless I'm misunderstanding how to apply this. Define blah blah blah. Only words for HTML elements. That's where the random GUID is anchored. So you need to wrap components inside HTML. It has no semantic nor positional value. Interesting. Got it. And actually, it doesn't really matter that much. Okay, got it. Okay, so this looks correct. We've got my class, button with custom class. The second way is directly pass the CSS styles in. This was where I was going to go next and just straight inline it. But I would rather do something like this. Top level element is an HTML element. If you want to make use of Blazor CSS obfuscation, top level element is an HTML element. Oh, is that what I've done wrong? So are you telling me all I needed to do was this the whole time? And then it would work just fine? That would be very interesting. Well, now, that's interesting. Okay. Great. Okay. Well, that was a good learning experience. So, lesson learned. If you want to use the CSS isolation, your top level element in your Razor page needs to be an HTML element. And I assume this is also relevant. Let's just clean up the page first. And then, so if I get rid of this, and then I want to test it one more time with the deep removed because I'm not clear that that's actually required. So this is very enlightening Stack Overflow. And that you need to use deep as discussed here. Got it. And we might need the pound important if we want to override something, but in my case, I don't think I want to override anything other than this, or set anything other than the sizing. There. That works perfectly. That is what we want. Huzzah. Okay, so, okay, now we're cooking with fire. Now we're cooking with fire. That goes there, that goes there, that goes there. Okay, voting buttons are now all lined up and should, one of the things I wanted to check really quick, open DevTools, is I kind of want to look at what this looks like on mobile. Yes, because that's one of my side goals, is I want this to not suck on mobile. That doesn't look bad at all. We might actually go as far as dialing down the size just a little bit. Try that. Oh, and we get rid of this background color red. They're not going to be relevant. Vote button row is not going to be relevant. We can probably get rid of the... They're just a little bit smaller. Just a little bit smaller. In fact, I might even go a hair smaller than that. I think that might be a little nicer. Like the big buttons are good, but they take up a lot of space without a lot of gain. The idea being that we don't want misclicks happening. But I don't think that's that big of a deal. 60 might be a little small. Go back up. Let's split the difference at 70. Let's look at how that looks. Because ultimately, everybody using this is typically going to be on a PC. It's pretty rare, because in order to do pointing poker well, like the only time people are really on their phone is if people are sitting in a meeting room together. There. That's not bad. We'll split the difference there and call that good. Great. Perfect. We're going to ship that. Okay, so that works there. User card, vote preview. We might end up double checking and seeing how many of these are actually in use. Okay, so vote buttons work all the way up and down. That looks fine. Let's check the observers. There's nothing really fancy here. Oh, the observers are lacking their toggle for preview. Why did we drop that? Is team member, is facilitator. I think that's just an oversight, because before the observers got a there's this and there's this along the top that are usually available, and I think we've accidentally dropped. Okay, so we need to bring these in. I'm gonna come down here. We don't need that. Okay. We should do this, but we need a MudBlazor this up. Okay, so I would like to give them this same layout here. It goes like that. Preview votes. That goes like that. And then observers don't get anything other than preview votes. And that goes like that. That goes like that. That goes in. Great. And I think we just want the mud text item. Just want to double check what we use down here. Yeah, so this really should just become a mud text field rather than a label. Goes like that, that goes like that, that goes like that. I don't even know why we need the span in here. Honestly, I think that's completely superfluous as well. Because really all we're looking to do is show a start time. And this clock doesn't need to be accurate, it just needs to be close enough. Okay, so we want to vote. I'm going to grab this, drop in a second one, that way I can control it and clicky the buttons. Need to figure out how to get the OK button to work. Reset. I don't like how that is off to the side, but and I also don't like how the vote timer isn't started until you click the reset button, but whatever. That's existing behavior. Okay, so that's just off to the side and out. Oh, this is probably because it needs to be inside of one of these guys. This probably needs to go like this. That. There. Because we're basically using this grid as a top-level layout system. You don't serve a purpose anymore. You go away. Goes like that, that goes like that, that goes like that. And hot apply. Stop. We'll relaunch this and make sure that that works as well. I think we're getting pretty close to having the whole thing functional again. We might go and even implement a feature too that I've been wanting. The only thing we haven't done yet is actually implement the showing of the results in a... There, that shows up better. We haven't actually implemented the showing of votes at the end, which is normally done in there, but I think we're going to change it up and do it in line here. Because I think we're going to put it right about here and just do it in a very stacky style layout, whereas the old one shows it horizontally. And I'm not a big fan of that. So there's all that, there's all that. This is how the old one worked. It was very heavy on this vote count percentage. So it ends up showing you a bit of a table view. Actually, I can tell you what it does, or I can show it to you. All right, so boom. Anybody wants to play along at home? So it comes in here, and I will be voter 1. Do another one real quick. Voter 2 update, right? Okay, so this guy here is he's going to become the facilitator. Kevin facilitates. Voter 1 and 2 goes in here. We're going to reset all the things. Oh, welcome, Victor. So you can imagine we're discussing the story, blah, blah, blah. Everyone's told, okay, go ahead and vote, right? So most people, they just get this view of things, of being able to vote. So, you know, Kevin 1 thinks it's a 3, voter 2 thinks it's a 5. Victor is clearly going huge, and because this thing's set to auto reveal votes, it automatically shows this table here on the side. So it's like, oh, discussion, you know, okay, the 3 realizes, okay, let's go up to a 5. And we don't want to give people a free pass if they vote after they see everyone else's stuff. So we give them a bit of a breakdown, but then it goes through and shows the breakdown and percentage of how many people are where, and then it very intentionally highlights the one that's currently winning, right? So 5s are currently winning, but if this one goes up here, they're all now winning, so they all get kind of that highlight color. So we want this type of functionality, but we want to get it. I don't like this view kind of off on the side because this doesn't lend itself well the moment you start to collapse your screen. It starts to get ugly fast. It doesn't work well. So I'd like to go through and change it up so that things actually line up correctly. All right, so I'm thinking what we're going to do is we're going to take this and bring it down and underneath. And yeah, for those of you voting, you can quickly see the SignalR-ness of this. I realize my stream is probably more delayed than the speed of the SignalR stuff. So at least when we're doing like screen shares via Teams and whatnot, it goes like SignalR is pretty darn fast. It's pretty awesome. And and this is just cheap tier app service stuff. Like it's not that much. So let's go and take a quick gander at. Yeah, yes, completely agree. So we learned a little bit about there. I want to look at what they have because they have a data grid here, but I don't think that's actually what I want because I don't want to do this sorting thing. I looked at the charts that they had, and I'd kind of gone like pie or donut chart, but my PO pointed out that this isn't actually that relevant. And what you really want is a more histogram type setup. Yeah, the bar graph makes a lot of sense. The one thing that I'm not a huge fan of is it's really hard. And let me show you what I did, because I think I left it in, but I commented it. Yeah, so I was playing around with trying to format up the bar charts appropriately, or I guess I didn't save the bar chart one. I was playing around with it. There's a couple things that are a bit limiting in the way the bar chart works. Oh, maybe I was doing it I was probably doing it here in their playground. Is you can only get so much in here before, or I should say, you can only do so much to control the sizing. So, for example, a few things that I wasn't a huge fan of is the way that it scales that way. The other thing is you can't change the width of these bars. And I actually went as far as to even go all the way to the repo to confirm this. But if you go and look at how they're rendering their chart, and I was this close to just saying, maybe I just copy out the code and let's see, components, chart, let's see, and then charts, and then if we go like bar chart. So here's the cool part of how they're doing this. They're actually using Razor files to generate SVGs. Right? Like Razor ultimately is just a templating engine. SVG is just an XML file. Let's put them together, right? Like, so that's one of the interesting things. The part that I was really unhappy about, and I gotta change my screen. So this line down here where it's iterating over all of the bars, effectively each of those vertical lines, be big font. If we scroll to the right here, stroke width 8. So no matter what you do, it's always going to have a skinny little bar. Like you can change the colors. I can get the Y thing looking like. The spacing's a little obnoxious, and there's nothing you can do to change it. And I went, that's not quite what I want. So I'm somewhat tempted. Like I looked at pulling in other libraries that had other charting stuff, because there is a couple other ones that are pretty cool. Let me pull up one that I looked at. So I was looking at this one, Resize, because this one was pretty cool. and they have a material demo that I was looking. I guess I should probably here. I will sharing link. And they've got a chart where they can do this kind of stuff, and it gives you a little more. This one's a little more mature in that it has a lot more things that you can customize. Is that useful? And I went, because at the end of the day, really, I think the idea of a bar chart makes a lot of sense. But I'm almost wondering if what makes the most sense is if we make a few assumptions. Assumption 1, the number of people voting on a team is going to be small, like under 30, under 40. It's probably not that big, right? And I'm kind of wondering if I just do a kind of roll my own bar chart, as it will, with just the paper control, right? Because this guy here, we don't need square. The yeah. This component here, where is the version where they show off the, oh, it was down in the CSS utilities, right? The flex, right? Where they show off the mud paper and set it up here, right? Mud theme primary. Is I'm kind of wondering about just doing this and kind of building my own bar chart, as it were. Doesn't seem that hard. It's kind of what I'm thinking. Because if I do a little math and just set these guys up, seems like it might be an easier option. But at the end of the day, what's important that we show is something that gives us this here. Right? We want to get something that gives us this information, right? We want to know what the vote was, what the counts were, and line all of those up. And we kind of want the votes to remain in order as well. So I kind of am willing to spend a little time and build that out, I think. Because I've got some of the stuff built already. Let's see. Because this is showing team members, and this is putting it inside the team member votes. Is that really where I want it? It's probably fine for now. Because this is going side to side. Not actually sure that's where I want it. I almost want to take all of this stuff. Let's start with this. Just take all of you out and put you up here, because I kind of feel like I want to put it there instead. And then I want to look, because I don't think then that I need this double stack garbage that I've set up here. Card content. I don't think I need any of this. I don't think I need any of this. And then that cleans all this up. So all that stuff was in there is to generate to the side. Okay, so this is getting cleaner already. Let's see. This needs to go above it because I need to be able to query team members. Okay, so this builds it up. This gets it here. We may not care about this. But then I'm thinking what we do is we just do a mud stack, right? And then we go mud tape, or probably want to for each this at this point. Var and we kind of want to do that maneuver of iterate over each of the grouped votes. Because we want to know how much they are. Because this thing here was building that out, all of this to get, yeah. I don't think we care about any of that. This is doing some ordering to order by the counts, but I don't know if we actually want to order by counts anymore. I don't think we do. Select vote. Because this is ordering, this is going to go by team member, which isn't quite where we want to go. I almost want to group the votes by order, but whatever. How did the old one do it? Order by, yeah. Oh, so this is the ordering option. That's different. Let's grab that again. Because I kind of feel like I want that. Yeah. So that'll order them to make sure that they're in order of the button, right? Which is largely numeric order, except for you'll remember there's like an abstain and a question mark in there too. So it's not like these vote options are literally just arbitrary strings. The fact that we made the strings numbers is circumstantial. And then if we've got a stack, I kind of feel like what I can do is just do I think what we do is a mud paper. What is the right way to do this? Part of me wants to put the color behind the text, but I'm realizing that becomes very problematic because then you have to make there's never a good contrasting color for the text in the background. So maybe if we just do text above the line, that might be good enough. So if we do, let's see, mud text, right? And then we're going to go with I want to show the number followed by the percentage. So I want this logic here first. I want to do that. Let's see. Rename that, then I don't have to think too hard. And then I want it followed by the percentage, which is this. That. And before it was getting count from where? The count of items in the group. Just do that. Okay, and then below it, we're going to do a mud paper. And then I think what I'd like to do is inline style, width, and I'd like to calculate the percentage. I'm going to do that. Come over here and we're going to go percentage, and we're going to do this, and we're going to go percentage. Do I not need to do that? How do I get, do I have to do that maneuver to inject? Component attributes complex content. What? We're going to do that for the moment. I can't seem to figure out how to make it work. And then I believe what I saw in their docs, mud theme primary is a very valid option. Yeah, so we'll do that for now. And that should at least show us the votes as they come in. And we should see a 50% marker. Which isn't great, but it is. I mean, that's. Oh, it's because I left that whole thing in. So let's just get rid of all that, because that's clearly not what we were going for. There's a way to make the stat go full width. How do I do that? If I go up here, components, mud stack. Yeah. Spacing, usage example, line items, combined. It's fine. It's not really what we want. Show me the code for that. How are you doing the style height 300? That's why it's being so big. I don't really want that. Okay, so I think let's relaunch this real quick. And then I want to look and see why. I mean, it looked like I got pretty close. I'm just curious why my 50%. I'm guessing the stack is not very wide. And I would like to change that. Vote, please. And then dev tools. Yeah, give it to me. What is going on here? Yeah, so your stack. Let's see here. So the other thing is this thing did not show to 100. Huh? What? Let's see. I don't want to futz with this too much, so I'm just going to do this. This is going to get ugly if I don't. And then this is going to be this plus this, and then that. I wonder if I should just do this entirely as an interpolated string. Probably cleaner. Do that. I don't have to care about that. Then I don't have to care about that. Then I can just literally do this. Bring percentage up to here. Don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that. Bring that back up. And then this is only problematic because the colon in the ternary doesn't know how to handle it. So we wrap it parens and away we go. And then this just becomes literal text. We're done, and that fixes that. The The issue here being this guy is not very wide because he needs to be in a item and set to go. Yeah. Nope. That's not what we wanted. We want this to be the closing tag. The opening tags is definitely not what we want. Okay, so that gets us probably pretty close. Aside from not knowing how to change that 50% yet. I think that'll get us a little bit better display. I'd like to vote, please. 3. There, and I think this is highlighting the idea that this needs something to offset the difference of that. Hot, reload, please. There we go. Okay, so something about like that. This is going now 50% of the way across. We should probably make the winning one something a little more boldy or similar, but this gives us something to work with. Okay. This should be able to do. Got it. So let's do then string style gets. We'll just build this sucker up here. Boom, boom, boom. And then this becomes same thing as what we had up here. Out that. And that just works, I think, because now we come down here and we go style. And that gets slapped in there. And then how is it picking out the winner to know which one to put in? Max vote. Where was that used? So it was doing this. So it was picking out whatever the one that had the max count on it and then restyling it. Because we can do that as well. I think we probably just want to play around with this class here. Where is, I assume that's going to be in the theming section. Features, customization. Somewhat, I kind of want to set a either, I don't really want to lighten the color. What's the best way to go about doing this? Maybe we should, if we just do the primary dark. Maybe we just go light, primary, dark, and call that a day. It's probably good. Right? I think it's probably that. Mud theme, primary, dark. Is there a... Let's go down here to... let's see. Body, capital... let's see. We could slap a bold on it if we wanted to. know if we need to. I'm thinking we just bump the, I think we just go body 1 and body 2, right? So body 2 for the losers, body 1 for the winners. Just as a slight bump. And this was typo. I can typo text size gets this can live outside. Oh, we already have max vote side there, right? Yeah. So if so count equals max vote yields typo body 1, else typo body 2. You just size that down a little bit. Stop your complaining. And then this becomes typo text size there. Colon value. What are you complaining about? I don't understand what you're complaining about, and I think the tooling's lying to me. Okay, so that'll change there, and then we were going to swap up the color on the paper. So I want to know the theming background color for that guy. Oh, there are the badges. Are those worth playing with? I don't think so. I don't think so. Yeah, I don't. I'm just real quick giving this a scan. Is there a variant or something on here? Elevation, height. I guess we can do height here. And then we don't have to specify it up here. Probably a little cleaner. Oh, width. Can we just do... Oh, can we just get away with this? I think I can get away with this. Let's see. Bing, bing. I think you have to do that to escape it and get it out. Do that. It knows what it is. Which means this now dies. Which means this now dies. Okay, so I cleansed that up a little bit. But I did want to figure out how to set the theming color on this guy. Outline, square style. No, so it's going to be one of these guys here. I don't know what the class is. It's probably going to be in the theming section. Palette, perhaps? Default colors. I kind of just want to know what the CSS selector is for this guy. Boom. Show it to me. Let's see. Mud, typography, body 1, align center. Oh, they're literally just using the variable primary dark. So that means I can go. Where was the default theme? Let's see. So primary. Not a primary dark. How do I? Start text. Primary darken. It's what I want. Mud palette primary darken. It's what I would like to shove into that. So, let's go with this. String bar class gets let's see, mud theme primary darken, else. I kind of want to have a stronger contrast here, so we might even do the light one as the opposite. What's going on here? Oh, I've mixed two concepts together, haven't I? Well, let's go there. Go here, and then bar class. Okay, that gets me, I think, the way there. Okay, vote. We come in. No, that didn't get me the color I wanted. So hot reload. There, so that got me to there, which is closer. Not quite what we want. I mud theme primary. I want to know where this class is defined. Yeah, so you're not in here. Let's see. Dark palette, blah blah blah. Custom themes, blah blah blah. Palette. Show me where it is. Where are you defined? Because I would like to know what I can use here. Because you're clearly defined somewhere. Class. Sorry, gotta zoom that out a little bit for my own sanity. One thing primary. I'm really happy that you've done all of that. Great. But you're defined somewhere. Where the heck are you defined? You're gonna literally be in the last thing that I look at. Alright, stupid. Where is it defined at? Okay. That's changing the theme. Feels like I should be able to know it from here, but I apparently too dumb to see it. Typography. I guess we could just set the background because I'm guessing that's where it's coming from anyway. And we know the variable for that. Right, this is mud theme primary. Okay. What I am looking for is mud theme primary darken or similar. Body. Primary darken. Mud alert. Da-da. Okay, so I can't find it because it doesn't exist. Excellent. Excellent. Was worried it was simple. Okay, so in that case, we just want to set the background color on these based upon this guy here. Because this was primary darken and primary lighten. So if we come back here, primary darken, primary lighten, and then we just want to basically do exactly as what they did, where it's going to be background color and then pull the var. Bar class gets, and then it's going to be do that, do that, do that, that, and then this guy here becomes recursive on himself, bar class, and then this becomes a style, which means we should probably rename this to bar style, and away we go. We should probably just straight up inline this, I think. I think that'll be less confusing than reappropriating the variable partway through, which means this needs to be parend up. And then all of that lovely unhyphenating that it did for me be removed because that's just not convenient. Colon the end. Okay. Now, I will need to go and get at least 3 voters for this, but that's okay. We can do that. Vote, okay. Okay, that immediately looks darker, so that's giving me hope. Boom, boom. Because we need at least 3. And I want to vote. Sure. I want to vote. Sure. Okay, so unknown vote, the ... is at 67%, but if one of these goes over to 3, that one gets there, this gets a little bit bigger. I'm tempted to also do the color success. Why that? That didn't change it. Let's see. I do think that's what I want. I just think that it's not getting auto applied. I think this is pretty close. Get me in. Green just isn't doing it. So, dark is not good. Let's see. Info, inherent. I would like to set it off somehow. Blue isn't good either. None of the, I don't like any of these. What else we got to play with? Inline style, yeah. We'll just stick with the size, I guess, for now. And then, did this thing properly show the bar lengths? Because I kind of feel like this stack used to have a style width of, I don't know, 75%. Because that bar is way too long. And then, so if I also vote an 8, that I think looks better, because then even down on a smaller font size, shrinking it up. I do wonder if this thing, you have a border. Do you have a border? That's fine. I don't know if it's necessarily needed, but I think that gives a better visualization of where things are at. And then I think overall on the outside, we want to do a bit of a margin here. Margin. I'd like to inset everything a little bit. Did that apply? Sure doesn't look like it. Oh, that one applied. But it seems to have applied it and pushed it out. Yeah, this auto. Okay, something's very not right with how that's scaling. Let's go here, 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 sure. Div here. This guy here is the one with the margin on it. Let's see. Why does it have the width plus 24? Mud grid spacing x3. Unset. How do I override and clear a property? I'd like to just unset the width in a style. Oh, you just literally set it to unset. Got it. And then that gets applied, and I immediately don't trust it. That gets really, really close. I think this is at a point where I hand it over to my PO and say, what do you think? Because I think it's at a usable state. All the functionality's back. I can reset the votes. I can go back into voting. Play there. I think it's working. Trying to decide if this is the right place to show the votes or if it should be down below the team members. I almost like the idea of slapping a separator up there above them as well. Where'd that separator go? Kind of like that idea, or even putting it into a card overall might make sense. Actually, that a card would make a lot of sense. Put this in. So I think that'll clean that up quite a bit, because we want to do then the card header and then the card content. Let's do that. Card header, text, results, maybe. I don't know. I'm bad at naming things. Card content then goes up here. Where'd it go? Header, card content, mud card content, and then we take you and shove you into that format. Gonna hot reload that thing for me. Yeah, it's wishful thinking. Wait a minute. I just put the wrong thing into the content. Suck. Copy this. And I'm going to undo everything I just did. This is what needs to go into there. Okay, and then if I go vote, it's not bad. I think it's clear. I kind of want to downplay this a little bit, but I guess it's fine to make it match for now. Cleanly separates it. What's that do? I like that a little better. Just a little more of an offset on it. And then I don't think I need to do the width 75 on here anymore. That doesn't seem nearly as necessary with the card around it, because now it can span the whole width. I like that better. Cool. Okay, so we're gonna add this in. Got loading display working. Okay, now for the pain in the neck part is I have style look fine. But I broke a bunch of view models and we have a bunch of to-dos. So let's see what we can clean up here real quick. So we're gonna delete that. Let's look at our task list. This is not a to-do we're gonna address now. This is a to-do we are going to address now. Put these back, put these back. They're this to do. Now, the other thing, we do have live unit testing up and running. So let's just start hacking these things away. So the nice part is we've got tests. So on initialized, it opens up a hub connection. Let's see where, well, maybe we just start at the top of this file. Work our way down. So we are room view model. We are in room view model. We should probably go write some tests for a dialog view model too, real quick. Submit dialog with hub connection joins room. So this guy comes in here. And what is the failure in question? So this guy is calling submit dialog async. It is making, I think a lot of this code is making big assumptions on how this thing was previously set up. So this thing ran into there. Let's see. That was with hub connection joins room. With hub connection joins room. No reference. Show user dialog. Line 227. 227 here. So this dialog service did not return back anything. It gave us back a null. And this thing ended up blowing up. So this is actually, I'm surprised I'm not being squawked at by my, the fact that this is nullable and we're calling dot result on it is clearly problematic. So let's do this. Let's fix the null case. Is dialog result, because the thing's documented to return nullable. Actually, we want that to be dialog reference, not dialog result as the name. And we're going to come into here. Boom. That'll fix the null reference there. Won't necessarily pass it. Okay, dealing with those fixed most of the tests. See, this is why we have tests. Okay, now expected true but was false. So this expected is name modal open. I don't think is name modal open is actually a useful thing anymore. I think we killed off its usages. So let's just check. It is only used in tests. So we're just going to burn it down. And then see, it's not relevant to this test because this was verifying that this one here is also not verifying it. So we get rid of that. Get rid of that. And oh, apparently I didn't get rid of all of them. There's one more down here. And we see what that does. That not kill everything? Is there still another reference somewhere? Oh, there is one. Where is it? That is no meaningless. Clean that up. Okay, tests are now green. Let's see. Fixing unit tests. Boom, that makes me happy. Okay, now the better question. I'd like to refactor some of this and clean some of this up. And I'm seeing some areas where we aren't actually gaining test coverage. So for example, nothing is verifying that a successful dialogue result is appropriately applying this information. So, let's see. So this, what exactly is this doing? Joining room. This is really not submit dialogue. This is really connect to room. Connect to room async. So let's go in here and I want to hunt any usages of that because I think I've got some tests that are referencing that by name. And I want to fix those as well. So submit dialog async should be connect to room async. Same thing here. Is that needs to change. That needs to change. Okay, so that's better. So that answers the other to-dos question of why do we need to call this here? Now the answer is connect to room, which makes it make a little more sense. Okay. This thing completely lacks test coverage. So let's fix that as well while we're here. Okay, so important thing first is what are we testing? So we would like to verify, and one of the things I sometimes like to do is collapse the method, right? If I can't write the test without seeing the implementation, it is not usually a good test. Public void, let's see. On connected clipboard, with URL, puts URL on clipboard. Right, so we're gonna do auto mocker. The thing. Oh, come on! You had a bunch of tests to look at. Let's see. This one isn't even using the room state variable, so we're gonna just clear that out. Are there any more dumb things like that that I see floating around that I've refactored myself out of? Doesn't look like it. Okay. And then yeah. So now we need our system under test, and we're going to do that. Wait, now this immediately makes me realize that this thing was not named appropriately. Right, so in this project, we're naming asynchronous methods with an async suffix. People go back and forth. This is very much a stylistic thing. I mildly lean towards liking to putting the async suffix on async methods, purely from a code review perspective of it makes your life a lot easier. Okay, and then my expectation is that it has called into the clipboard service. So I expect that clipboard service was invoked, copy to clipboard, and I expect to see the string. Let's just put it in a variable so I can response string URL. Okay, so that I expect to see this, and I expect this to be invoked times once. Boom. That test is roughly what I would expect to see. Okay, and it fails. What is the failure? What did I do wrong here? Use the verify overload. Oh, if it returns a value tag. Got it. So this wants me to do task so that I can define what this thing is returning. Cannot implicitly. Oh, got it. This is returning a value task. Is this ours? Oh, interesting. That's a value task, so it propagates up. Okay, cool. Works for me. And then do we care to validate the... I don't know if I care to validate the SnackBar thing. Feels like an implementation detail. This is what's actually important. Let's see. Let's do something like fact public async task show user dialog with success with new user joins room. Right, because at the end of the day, that's what this is the behavior that I care to actually test. Grab this much here real quick. Rid of that, and then I'm going to do view model dot show user dialog async, and now I need to set some stuff up. I want to verify that it joins the room appropriately. Which means I am looking to do a whatever the hub connection is that actually sets that up. That's with room state. I don't need to set that up, but I want to verify that it actually calls to connect. Where is this is what I want to verify, is that it actually sets up what I expect and does that. I also want to verify the view model has the appropriate name and selected role ID after the dialog is done. So now we have to do some setups here in order to make that happen. The mocker setup I dialog service. Yeah, and I expect this to call show async with a user dialog. And I don't think I care about the parameters. So I think we're just going to go it is any. Because the actual string here is an implementation detail. So this is a pitfall of a lot of testing that people will bump into, is they will test, and I should collapse this so I'm not too tempted to look at the implementation. And actually I'm going to go further. Collapse that. This is why I like focusing on the name of the test, because the idea is what is the important behavior to verify versus what is an implementation detail. And this is a pure judgment call, right? It's not, there's not a hard and fast rule of what makes sense. So I always go back to my test name and go, okay, what exactly is it that I'm wanting to test? And in this case, I want to test that we pop this dialog with a new user, that after the dialog completes successfully, that new user is then joined to the room. That's what I'm really after, right? The parameters to the dialog don't matter to me, right? This is not something I care to test right now. I might care to test something like that later. I am going to expand this just so I can remember the exact signature of what I was invoking. Parameters. I think I can get away with that because I think I saw a relationship between the generic to the non-generic. Yeah, so I don't care what the parameters are. Any instance will work. It is any dialog options. Again, I don't care. That's not, at present, that behavior is not critical to my test. So, but this guy here returns a iDialog reference. We're gonna put that in. iDialog reference. Oh, thank you, Marco. I appreciate that. Let's see. So returns, and then I need to somehow construct me a dialog reference. I can always just shove in a mock. Not sure how much I like this. We're gonna do it for now, but it makes me a little twitchy because I'm mocking something without a lot of knowledge of exactly what is being done, and I'm gonna actually mark this as verifiable, and then we're gonna come down here and go mocker verify. Just to put that through. What is your problem? Oh, show async. It should probably be task of rather than iDialog reference. Okay. That returns async. So returns async is an extension method on the end of a mock that you can use. Okay, so that gets me into there. That gets me into there. If I expand this, I should see that I'm now down a little further. So I can see that my dialog reference is calling dialog reference.result, and then it's trying to act on it. And this is one of the reasons why I don't like mocks, because now I have to intentionally make this mock behave a particular way. What is this? What does this interface look like? Is it worth me spinning a... Oh, yuck. Oh, yuck. This feels like something that I'm gonna want to wrap up. Let's give ourselves a helper method because I'm already not liking this. Dialog reference. How about setup user dialog? We're gonna just grab this sucker down here. We're going to do a dialog reference setup, and this guy is going to expect a call to cancel, or no, call to dot result first. This is where I really hate this. Returns async. What was the return on this? This is itself a dialog result. So what does dialog result contain? How bad are you to instantiate? You're not bad at all. So we're going to have you be an OK result. In this case, we want an OK of a user dialog view model. Hey, this is going to get bad. Dialog result OK. Auto mocker. I'm gonna bring this in. Mocker get user dialog view model. I'm wondering if I should really set this thing up because get can return a mock to you. I wonder if I should just do create instance. How about with? Does this have the new? Oh, we haven't released that yet, have we? That's disappointing. There's a PR on the AutoMocker repository that I did where with will return the object that it's injecting, because with is shorthand for a use with a create instance. So we'll just do mocker get. Now, about new dialog view model. Dialog view model gets mocker create instance. There, that goes like that. Dialog view model, and then we'll put it back into the AutoMocker instance. So if somebody else wants to get it back out, they can. And then we can do dialog view model. So that goes there. That sets the dialog up to have the appropriate result. Canceled should default to returning false unless somebody does something fancy with it. And then this isn't going to be a new. This is going to be a mocker get mock. I dialog reference. That way, once again, if somebody wants to get this mock back out to do anything with it, they can. And then now we can just do. Let me change this from setup to width. I think that reads a little cleaner. And then we can do return dialog reference. So we're going to go here. We're going to go with user dialog, pass in our mocker. That sets that up. That sets that up. And I'm wondering if I should have this whole thing go in there. So I think I'm going to. Let's go into here. And then I don't actually care about the dialog reference anymore. I can just do this, and that becomes a whole lot cleaner. There's no more thinking about this. And now the only thing I want to do is add some optional parameters. String name with selected role ID. And then this guy here, this dialog view model is going to get the name that was passed. And the dialog view model is going to get that selected role ID. There. And then we're going to go with test user. Role. We'll do observer. Anything non-default will work. Okay, so that gets it through there. We get into here. We get into here. That gets into here. It's called connect room async. Room hub connection is connected. Oh, and we never set it up with a room ID, so our view model is going to need a room ID. View model, room ID gets test. How about room ID? Just any reasonable value will work, but we need to set it up with the connection so that it passes this condition. Well, hang on. This is a new user. So is connected is expected to be false. Wait. I am confused. What is expected to connect to the room? Oh, the initialize is supposed to connect it up. So we didn't do the initialization. This is supposed to occur. Room hub connection. So we need to set that up. Do we not have an example of that already? This is what we need. Why don't you comment your code? Feels strong, man. Um, that is a great question. I go back and forth. There are. I like to use comments to explain the why behind my code, not necessarily the what. Oftentimes, and for a lot of these tests, I would, in many cases, do this, just so that it's very clear what the setup is. But you do make a good point that in a lot of these cases, it is not clear why I'm doing which setups where. So we will clean some of that up here in just a moment. The dialog with a new user and role. Simulate the hub connection already being made. Yeah, I'm sure there's people who comment every line of code. From a practical standpoint, that doesn't work, and rarely do I find, like, often people who comment every line of code, comments, the moment you write a comment, the issue being is this comment is expected to line up with a line of code next to it. It's very, very easy for those comments to get out of date and out of sync, and then they're no longer not helpful, they're actively harmful. Which is why it's better to comment the why, not the what. And that should have gotten us. Let's see here. So when we set up the connection, if it's a new user, what do we expect? In a new user, the room state would be null. So we would expect it to not call open async. This expectation is wrong. This should be join room async, and it should come in with room ID. That's what we expect. And then it should come in with some random user. It is user, and I think in this case we actually care to check, right? So in this case we want to verify that it's not just any old user that comes in. It is in fact a user with the name and the role that we set up from before. So u dot name equals test user, because we want to make sure that the name is flowing through properly, and u dot role role dot observer. There. And for reference, I can get away with this role dot observer equals check because my role class is a record. So I know that the it's checking on name and ID, and I know that these ones are all just pre-canned statics with well-known GUIDs. So I can get away with that kind of garbage. So that makes sense. Do we need another test? Is there another case that's worth testing? We aren't hitting the else case on the dialog in this test, but I don't think that's relevant. We're not testing canceled, but I also don't think it's relevant. So I'm going to call it good. I think that is good. Okay, the other one that we added was the user dialog view model, and we've added no test for it. Because this is pretty much completely untested. So that's not good. So let's make it tested. Let's make it tested. User dialog view model. Where are my tests? They're there. User client test view model. Add class. User dialog view model tests. No, no, no. I really wish you were smarter about where I wanted you to go. Okay. Okay, Copilot, do what I'm thinking. That's okay. That's all you got, Copilot? Really? Because that's not even right. Okay, so we're gonna start with the partial class here, and let's throw in some constructor tests. Type of user dialog view model. Boom. So for those people who don't recognize this, this is something from the AutoMocker library. It's going to generate tests to verify that all of our constructor parameters appropriately throw argument null exceptions. Testing this condition, in my opinion, is a very low value test. But it's when the cost of testing it is an attribute and a partial keyword, I'm willing to do it. Other than that, it's a pretty low value test. Unless you're building libraries for consumption by other people, then it's more valuable. In your own app code, it's kind of low value in my opinion. So let's see. So let's go with fact, public void select role, and let's collapse these so we don't get too. Is this included in AutoMocker? Yes. You have to be on a relatively recent-ish version. It's only been out for a couple versions. Let's see, which version am I on? I am on. I am on 3.5. I think that's close to latest. Yeah, so all it literally does is go through and do this. The other thing that's worth knowing about is it does generate up a couple partial methods. So if you ever need to say there's the obvious one is an iOptions class that always bites people, right? Because some people go, right? Some people don't necessarily null check the options, but what they'll do is they'll do options.value and then they'll null check this, right? And then this causes problems because the test that AutoMocker generates literally just feeds a null into here to go through and test everything. But there are a bunch of partial void or partial. There's a bunch of tests that it goes through or partial methods it goes through and generates where you can then inject your own instances that you want it to use. So if you can see the naming here, with a null HTTP client, blah, does this. With a null options object, throws argument null exception. Right, easy. Or if you want to do a common setup for all of them, there's this one here. And it gives you both the test name and the AutoMocker instance that it's going to use to populate those objects. So if you want to populate them in a particular way, you can do mocker.use and just slap in whatever instances you want. Back up. Okay, selected role with role sets value. Let's see. So mocker gets new, and then yeah, that. Okay, Copilot, go. Come on, do the thing. I gave you the test to work with. I gave you the whole name. Figure it out. No? Okay, fine. Select role. Let's do observer. And then assert equal role dot observer dot id is equal to view model dot selected role id. Selected, boom, done. Okay, and then like to do the null case, Copilot. Well, that's interesting. What is it testing? Load room data with room ID and role not set. Sets role. So it passes in a room ID of 1, then attempts to call this, returns back an observer, and knows that that's supposed to... I mean, that's a good test, but that's not what I wanted to write, Copilot. This is also setup get... trying to remember the setup for this. There's where's the setup get stuff? Setup HTTP get. That's what I want. I want something more akin to that. So it's going to look more like this with this URL. And then I want to return back. Yeah, we can do team member for this one. Just in case you're wondering, this is something I've put in here. You can go to the pointer repository if you're interested in stealing any of it. So specifically the case in question is client tests, this guy. So if anybody's interested, these are the extension methods I've built. There are several libraries out there that add in similar functionality to mock, and they work fine without a mocker. I had this one ready to go, so I used it. So this is expected to be team member ID. Let's see. You're now failing. Of course you are. Oh, because I left this thing in. Should not leave that in. There. That should clean that up, and it should go find it now. Sure. So let's go here. That actually build properly. There we go. Okay. Let's go with fact. Public void select role with null role. Clears select role. Okay, Copilot, I gave you the entire test name. Write the test. Really? That'll work. Thanks. Okay, so that should cover all of that. Should probably consider handling these cases. With room ID and role not set. So we should probably handle, since we coded around it. Load room ID and role set does nothing, so we want to remove this very explicitly. And then we want to go in here. Let's see, with room ID, so room ID is passed and role is set. So we want to make sure we set a role. So view model selected role ID should get role dot, let's do facilitator this time. I usually try to mix up the data just to make sure if there's something different in any of them that it gets caught. This should then be facilitator ID for the selected role ID, and that should do nothing and it should pass. Great. And then let's handle the so without room ID and role set. So we're going to pass a null here. And then that should also remain fixed. Great. Okay. It's probably, it may be worth a comment that these ones here, the lack of any setup for the HTTP client would have indicated a failure if that was missed. Okay, so I think that handles a lot, at least everything that we changed on the client side. So we go here, quick review, added the additional tests we care about, there. Updating unit tests for newer view models. Great, commit, push. Now we pull request this guy in. To MudBlazor. I would like to get Alan's approval on this. Update to new MudBlazor UI. We're going to create the pull request, and then I want to go through and I want to just take some screenshots, because whenever doing a pull requests, view it on GitHub, whenever doing a UI type work, it's always nice to include screenshots so people have a better idea of what they're looking at. Is material design on Netcore 3? Is it going to be on Netcore 8? I believe so. You should be able to use it on Netcore 8 already. There's nothing in that's broken on it. Let's take a quick gander here. I think it actually should be supporting more than just Netcore 3.1. Yeah, because depending, if you're on latest version, it should have dropped Netcore 3.1 in the latest previews, at least. I think that may have been dropped in the last version as well. I can't remember exactly at which point it got dropped, but at present it's 4.6.2, Net 6, and Net 7. My intent is to keep any supported framework from Microsoft. I'm intending to have the material design library support. So once Microsoft drops support for Net 6, for example, in a few years, I'm going to drop it off my NuGet package, because it gets really hard to try to maintain anything that Microsoft isn't supporting, because the tool chain quickly breaks and it's not worth the headache. So, but at least as long as Microsoft's supporting a framework, the material design library is expected to support it as well. So yes, to answer the question, Net 8 is expected, and so far there's nothing in Net 8 that I would expect to break it. The only reason for having a Net 7 target in addition to a Net 6 is just to pick up a few of the performance things in the BCL. It's really not, like, there's nothing actually logically different in terms of code between the Net 6 and Net 7 targets. They do exactly the same thing. And I expect something similar for Net 8. There's not likely to be any special code for Net 8 in there. It'll probably just get added as a target so that we can pick up any of the performance gains out of the BCL, and we'll call it a day. Okay. So we're going to just shrink this guy down here, and we're going to just take some screenshots. And we're going to go in here, and then we're going to just, where'd my PR go? Too many things open, close. Pull requests. And then we're going to go through and edit. Screenshots of the new UI. Boom. Let's see, and then let's go here. Just make that screenshot a little bigger and grab that next as well. Slap that in. Landing page. New user dialog. Slap some of the stuff up here. Boom. And then let's go here. Okay, let's see here. So show off this. Facilitator view. Boom. And then we're going to grab this. And then I want to change this guy up here to be Kevin Vote. Expand this out. Grab this. And we'll call it team member view. And I'm going to spin a second one just so we can show some voting options. So I might even spin a third. And then we're going to call this Kevin 2. Call this one Kevin 3 because I'm just going to clone myself. And we're going to do 2, 2. Let's see. Vote results view. And then we'll do that. We'll do that. We'll do that. What else is worth showing? Oh, we can pop this guy into the observer role. Let's see. Let's reset votes on the first one. Is this one Alan? The Alan one. Lost Alan. Kevin 2. Kevin 3. Oh, Alan's this tab. Got it. Reset votes. Okay. So, and then I want to do Kevin 2, Kevin 3. Let's see. So if we go and vote, give a screenshot of the observer view. Go back over here and observer view. Slap that in as well. And then once the vote comes in from, so that doesn't do anything once it's toggled. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything else worth showing. Update comment. So we're gonna draw. So I don't do much freelancing. Most of my work is largely for Intelitech. There's a bit of an interesting line there in that rather than freelancing, I tend to do open source work instead. But like, I don't want to give the impression that 100% of the open source work is completely altruistic either. I oftentimes, a lot of my open source work is contributing to like MVP status or me prepping a talk that I'm going to give or doing other things that of interest to me. So it's not necessarily freelancing, but oftentimes some of my exterior work activities I am receiving some sort of benefit from in one way or another. Sometimes the benefit is I'm having fun coding. So there's personal enjoyment that comes from a lot of this. Okay, perfect. I'm going to let that one ride, and it's 12:30, so I'm going to probably go to bed. I am going to try to get the material design PR for the 501 done. Nikolai, since I know you're watching this recording later, thank you for the other ones that you caught. I'm going to go get those cleaned up. Hopefully we've caught most of them, and if some of them get through, I'm not overly concerned. I assume we're going to be playing the game of whack-a-mole on brushes for a little while, where people want more granular ones in a lot of these cases. So I will get these cleaned up, because that's the reason some of the brushes are using a bad key. It's because they got forwarded from the old key, and before it was just garbage, and now it just went from old garbage to new garbage. But we should definitely break these apart. I also am going to update my wiki page for creating brushes so that that is documented as well for other people to be able to use. So, but there's a handful of these in here that Nikolai accurately called out that it doesn't really make sense that in a list box theme that we're using a toolbar brush. So that should not be the case. But with 5.0, there will be a lot of new brushes, and people will be able to customize hopefully every color they want. And if we can't customize something, it should be trivial to add a new brush. So that's the goal, is that it's either customizable for you out of the box, or we can add the customization without too much effort. I'm not blindly going through and just adding brand new brushes all over the place. I'm trying to be somewhat intentional about which ones get added, because like there are some I don't see people ever wanting to realistically change. Like, why would you ever want to change just one piece of the color rather than all of it? So, but I am planning on knocking that out, and thankfully I am now done with trips for the rest of the summer. I think that's true. Pretty sure that's true. So with that, thank you everyone for coming and sticking with me. I realize this was more web content and not my usual WPF XAML, but sometimes I need a break, and I stream and code for my enjoyment. So I figure if I'm having fun, at least one person on the stream is having fun, and that's good enough for me, because I'm that person. So to everyone, happy coding. I'll see you all next week. Oh, wait. I almost forgot. Where is it? Hang on. Quick side detour. For anybody who wasn't around at the beginning, thanks for being up for EU. No problem, Marco. It's incredibly late for me, but it's the only time it works in my schedule. I am doing a lunch and learn. This is probably not EU time zone friendly. It's at noon Pacific Standard Time. So that's lunchtime for me, and probably horrible for most people. But if anybody is interested in the generic host and leveraging it in other types of applications and making good use of it for effectively bootstrapping your apps for DI and logging and that sort of thing, that is what this is going to be about. Effectively, anytime I have to answer questions for colleagues more than twice, I just assume I should do it as a talk, because clearly it's information that needs to be done. So, 9 p.m. German time. Perfect. So it's not too late. Excellent. So if anybody is interested, link is in the chat. Feel free to drop in. It's a free one. It'll be just under an hour. I know they mark it out as an hour, but I think it's actually billed for 50 minutes and then like 10 minutes of Q&A, and we'll see how things go back and forth. I usually try to do something a little more interactive. I try not to rabbit trail too much when I'm on a time limit though. So, but if anybody's interested, feel free to drop in. It should be a good thing. This just got posted earlier today. So posted today and doing it next Tuesday. So, okay. With that, I will now say happy coding and good night. Will it include generic host for WP? I assume there's an F there. Yes-ish. I will be showing how to do to leverage it in other apps like WPF. So WPF will be mentioned and shown slightly. I'm going to try to keep it somewhat generic, but at the same time, each of the different application types you kind of have to show some samples of in order to make it work. So yes, there will be showing how to do it in WPF. And if you do miss it, the Intelitech YouTube channel should have the recording, and I'll usually be linking it. So With that, good night. Happy coding.